Okay, so I'm back, and during this video I want to talk about two things: my pre-op diet, which I'm currently on, and I'll get into some detail on that, and then my pre-op doctor's appointment. And right now it's Friday, I believe September 2nd, so it's been a few days since the last video, and my appointment is on the 9th, so I'm a week away from having my surgery. So getting kind of excited and nervous at the same time, but it'll be worth it. So the pre-op diet and pre-op appointment is what I'm going to be covering, and I'll start off with the diet. So I was told to go on a liquid only diet for 2 weeks. Now, when I read this, I was like, there's no freaking way 2 weeks on a liquid diet. It's gonna be impossible. And I'm not gonna lie, it's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done diet-wise. I've done low-calorie diets before, and this is just something else. You can't even eat food that's good for you during this diet. So right now what I'm allowed to have is protein shakes. So I'm supposed to get between 80 and 100 grams of protein a day through the protein shakes. I'm allowed to have as much water as I want, and I can have V8, which I actually haven't read in a lot of other posts about the pre-op diet having V8, but I'm allowed to have as much V8 as I want. So V8 has become a really good friend for my like savory needs because it's got a little bit of salt in it. It's important that you only get the regular V8 or the low sodium V8. You can't have any of the V8 fusions or any of the other V8s that are out there that have like a splash. I imagine the spice V8 would be okay, but it wasn't on my list, so I'm not trying it. So I've got like some pure protein powder that I've got, and occasionally I'll get some of those pre-made protein shakes that are just easy to grab and go. And then one thing that I found that's kind of a savior is I'm allowed to have soup broth. So I found these already made soup broths at Walmart. They come in a can. They're like 30 calories, so they're similar to the V8s as far as how many calories you get, but they don't taste half bad. They actually taste pretty good. They give you 9 grams of protein, so unlike the V8, instead of getting some carbs, I'm getting protein. And what I'm finding on this diet is that I just gotta power through, and it's willpower. It's all willpower. I sit there in my bed at night wanting to eat something, and I just can't. Like I gotta not do it. And the thought actually of waking up and going and eating drinking a protein shake or one of those things, it's kind of gross. So I'm like, I don't want to do that, but I'm like, that's my only food option. And my thought is, if I can't do this, then I really shouldn't be getting the surgery. You know, I think everybody, when they're on this liquid diet, they cross that path of, oh, I could eat this and it'll be fine, or I'm gonna look up on the internet and see if it's okay to eat, you know, what happens if I miss a meal or whatever. I've read that you can and you'd be just fine. I've read that some doctors don't even care. You know, you have like a 2-day, 3-day before the surgery diet that you do, and then you're done. But I just don't want to risk that. I'm like, I'd hate to get on that operating table and they put their equipment on me, go in, see that my liver just hasn't shrunken down, and cancel the operation. That would be devastating. So that is the whole point of the diet. You've got your liver and your stomach, and they put a tool in that like pulls your liver back so that they could get to your stomach. And if your liver's too big and fatty, they can just cancel the surgery. So that is something that has been a big challenge. So I think I'm down, like 12 pounds in 8 days doing this diet. Like it's intense. Like I could probably lose 100 pounds in a year doing the liquid diet, but that would be the worst year ever. And I know I'm gonna be on it for a while after, but I'll talk about that when I get more information on it. So now I'll talk to you about my pre-op appointment. So the pre-op appointment was Wednesday, so it was a week and a day before the appointment. Basically, the doctor answered questions that I had. I asked him about recovery time, like how long should I be expected to be out of work. He said most patients are out within 2 weeks. I said you'll be walking within a few hours of the surgery, and that's because you have to. So I'm sure I'll have some posts about me walking a lot in the hospital. He said that most patients, about 70% of them, stay one night, but there are about 30% that have to stay 2. I really don't care as long as it's done correctly. You know, hospitals are pretty uncomfortable, and from what I understand, I'm gonna be wanting to be up on my feet. I'm not gonna be wanting to lay down when I'm in the hospital, so it's mainly just so they can observe and document everything that's going on with me so that I'm safe, and I'm good with that. So now that we're getting into the final stretch before the surgery, I had a good amount of questions for him. I wanted to know, with COVID, if my family could come into the hospital. Unfortunately, with COVID, my wife's not allowed to go in. She's allowed to check me in, and that's it. So she won't be able to come in. If my surgery gets done and I'm able to release, there's a short period of time between the time I get released and 6 p.m., which is the visitor's hour, so she can come see me. But I might not see family for a little bit after the surgery as well, so that stinks a little bit. But in the long run, it's the right thing. It's just different with COVID. So I found out the Banner Gateway, that's where I'm going to be having the surgery, is the only COVID-free hospital in the state. So they test everybody who goes in there, no matter what. You go to the emergency room for a broken leg, you get a COVID test, and if you come up positive, they move you, because that is the only COVID-free hospital in the state, because they have the cancer center there. And if somebody with cancer, with a compromised immune system, gets COVID, it could be dangerous. It could actually kill them. So I think that's pretty cool that hospital is going to have beds and everything's going to be available. I asked the doctor, I said, so what are the chances of the state shutting down any elective surgeries? And is bariatric considered an elective surgery in Arizona? He said, yes, bariatric is considered an elective surgery. The chances of a shutdown are great for cosmetic surgery and elective surgery in Arizona. However, because this particular hospital is COVID-free and most of the money that the hospital makes are off these procedures, they are pushing really hard to not shut them down. So he goes, I never want to give 100% guarantee, but they lost a lot of money in 2020 when they shut down the hospitals for, I think, 8 to 9 weeks of the first wave of COVID, before COVID even started spreading. We shut everything down. So they lost a lot of money on that. So they're very reluctant to do so again. So I'm pretty confident that it's going to go through. And I asked him, you know, what am I going to be able to eat? I was concerned about drinking because before I gained a lot of weight, I was somewhat of an athlete. I used to mountain bike a lot. I used to do a lot of things that in Arizona, if you don't drink water while you're doing them, you die. And if I can only drink like a thimble worth of water, it's not going to work. He said the stomach will eventually stretch out, and there are people who have done the sleeve gastrectomy and had the ability to run marathons and Ironmans afterwards. I don't ever plan on being one of those guys, but I should be okay to do like my 10-mile bike ride with my kids. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll just take a little while for my stomach. I'm not going to be able to do anything right away. One thing that, because I'm on this liquid diet and going on to have the surgery, I just need to continue to eat a lot of protein, limit my carbs. I'm gonna have some muscle loss, they say, because you know, you're not able to be as active, you're not moving, you're not able to eat as much, so your body will start eating, you know, the fat and muscle in your body, and so I will lose weight with muscle and fat there, but it should be good. So right now I'm on the home stretch of the liquid diet. I'm not gonna quit now since I've come this far. It doesn't make sense. So if you're just starting it, I highly recommend, if you're starting the liquid diet, to maybe like a week before, like do the liquid diet like in the morning and then have a regular dinner. And I know that might sound hard, but that will make life a whole lot easier. I started cold turkey, and those first 3 or 4 days, they were bad. I was grumpy. I told my wife, if I'm as grumpy as I was last weekend, to kick me out, send me out, I'll go somewhere. I don't want to be that grumpy guy anymore. So try to get started on it a little bit early. It also helps with your liver to shrink it. I'm not a doctor, I'm just saying this from my own personal experience with cravings. If you're anything like me, which if you're having the surgery, you probably are, it'd probably be a good idea for you to start it in the morning and then have a regular dinner in the afternoon. So, all right guys, hopefully you enjoy this update. I'll catch you later. Next time probably won't be until I'll probably have one more update because I have to take a COVID test on Monday, and if I pass that, then I'm 100% clear. So if I don't make that update, it's because I passed the COVID test, which I feel fine right now. So hopefully that all works out. All right, we'll catch you later.